Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another season of ECAC with Post University. This week, week 1 versus West Virginia Potomac. As I am hyped to finally be back with casting once again. It's been a long, month and a half or so without casting, but I am hyped to be back. I'm hyped to see more Valorant action here as we get into things. Right now, I believe the teams are just getting all set, and we should be jumping into a game shortly. Looks like they are all just getting in positions. I'm not sure if map pick ban has occurred yet. I was seeing R checks already, so we might be seeing that. Or it might have already happened before, and it looks like it already did. So we are going to launch straight into Ascent here. And an insta-jet lock from Zeno. It's been a couple months, but it's nice to see that lock once again. And we are seeing a little bit different of a post roster from the last time we saw them. chrisramrz, who was not with the team last semester, is back. Looks like he might be playing the Sova here. Mojo back on that classic Omen. Dissident on the Breach. The chrisramrz Sova and the PSL Killjoy. And wow, we are seeing really fast locks. I didn't even get to see the other team really, but we have an exact mirror matchup. I did hear that Skye got very nerfed in a recent patch, so we might not see as much of that character, but on Ascent, KO is often seen a lot for a lot of the pro teams and such, so it is interesting to see Breach for both teams. It is a Dissident special and a post special. They do like using that a lot. On this defending side, we are going to see an early Killjoy setup towards the B side. However, the stack is over towards A right now in the early setup, with Dropship all the way over on their lonesome as the Killjoy kind of lurking and holding down that other side. We're seeing the 4-man push, but it is going to be into 3 post players here, as the Breach and the Jet are both here. Soon we'll see maybe an early Sova dart that did come out towards A main, didn't spawn anything, but they will get information off of the drone being there, and a smoke is going to come through that should stall this push as they start to walk back slowly, grabbing that orb, taking that early ult orb, trying to get their ults online. I know between the seasons, a lot of agents got higher ult cost to make ults a little bit less frequent, so getting those ult orbs is really, really, really important now. That being said, we are starting to see some sort of a B hit here. Once again, smoked off. Could hurt, will get taken down, but a lot of damage onto Yompers. And oh my god, Mojo is so far out mid here. Could end up getting a little bit of a pick, but the fake has been sold as they're starting to walk back all the way towards A here. You're not going to notice that. And, wow, that's going to be the first pick out from Dropship. And now everyone's stacked over towards A here. Distant gonna look for something towards mid. There's only 14 seconds left, and now the entry comes through. It should be a pretty free plant here. We'll get it with their lives, and Zeno gonna look for an early push out of smoke, but is gonna get taken down by Berserker here. As now Post are kind of looking for a flood out of heaven situation. The flash coming through, a beautiful flash, and they will spot Berserker, but they're gonna get counter flashed here, and it's gonna make it quite difficult here as Berserker finds 4 to open up this game with the pistol round. Yes, I am in the jersey today. Did just get it over between the last semesters. Thank you, Denny, for that. Does feel good. Great jersey. We'll be wearing it on all of the cast now. But that being said, we are going to see a pretty standard force-up coming out here from PSC. And, yeah, it is going to be an early B hit coming out here. Chris and Elle kind of alone on the site. Dissident going to be coming through now, but again, the guns are just so bad, and it should be hard to actually hold this site, but maybe they can get a couple classic kills. Dropshipper out in mid with, is that the Outlaw or the Marshall? It is a Marshall. Outlaw also did get added to the game since the last time I cast it. Kind of like an in-between of a Marshall and an op, if you don't know. And now Chris is going to be pressured off of this market area right into Berserker, who is going to dash in now and get a little aggressive. Even though they are stunned up, they'll get the Killjoy turret. No way to really find that kill here, and Elle will try their best, but with just a classic, there isn't much that she could do there.
Spike planted.
Now, this should be a pretty clean round here.
Last
for
player
PSC.
standing. Flawless.
The triple kill for Bird. Great job there. And now we should be able to see a buy from Post here. And that real quick. Alrighty. And yep, buys are coming out here. No ults on the table yet for either team. Again, a lot of those did become a lot bigger. Killjoy is now a 9 cost. Breach now a 9 cost as well. And with 2 Bulldogs and a Guardian, they might have some sort of say here. Looking for that early Sova Dart that did come, but now Sova Dart comes in and we'll actually get some information there. So holding that turned out to be really good. Chris unable to find the kill in the duel there. We'll get this drone out now, but he didn't take any damage really. And wow, gets the head tap, but even dinked. Berserker is just on an absolute tear right now. But meanwhile in mid, Mojo managed to find one, and they found a second one there. Dissident looking for a pick as well. As Dissident and Mojo are kind of looking for some shenanigans here. The blind really good for getting Mojo up top there, who does find that kill. A triple kill now for Mojo. And Dissident will clean up their second on the round, which will be an inevitable win on that third round. Kind of the expected result there, as there were some low buys or some bonuses for PSC, but now both teams on buys here. Chris is actually a little bit low on cash, so it's going to be curious what he ends up buying here. And Mojo gonna opt for light armor here, which with the Outlaw and the way that it damages can be sometimes dangerous of a buy now. It's not as free. It kind of was Valorant's answer to that. Now we're going to see an aggressive push from Zeno and Dissident here. Bird's going to walk right into this with an early kill there, and it's going to start an early 4v5, but the entry is going to come through almost immediately here. Chris looks for some sort of a fight here, but Berserker will find that kill, and Elle went down as well, so that's going to be a site take here. A 4v5 turning into a 4v3 retake. And now they're all playing on site and pretty far back, so Distance early utility not going to be super effective here, but that drone is so big, does so much damage to Dissident there.
Yikes.
Now Zeno gonna manage to find one, but it's 2v3 now. Make that 2v2. Zeno on an absolute tear. Does kill that Killjoy turret finally and kills the flash target. That's a 4K. Make it an ace for Zeno. Oh my god. What a way to save the round. Gets the defuse. Beautiful play there. And the new jet line, the ba-dum. Oh, I love that about Valorant, how they keep adding new voice lines. Jet, one of my favorite characters personally, but Zeno, one of my favorite players to watch. with that explosive play. And what a way to turn this map around now, bring it back to 2-2, and with low buys here for PSC, should be a little bit of a struggle for them on this round, as it looks like it's a big stack here towards B site here. It's going to be pretty fast. The jet knives pop for Berserk. Can't get over the wall. It's just going to get absolutely torn up. The Killjoy setup doing so much work there. How unfortunate. Bell does get taken down. It is going to be a 4v4 situation. I believe they did manage to recover a gun here. And Gompers doesn't manage to find a kill. Did get a tag, I believe. Struggling a little bit with the drone here. They're trying to stall with all of their utility. Zeno, just 7 HP, manages to find one. It is 4v3. Time is ticking down, though, and they're all playing backside. Make that 3v3. There's some low HP here, and Zeno does go down. Time continues ticking down, and
one enemy
somehow PSC with the stingers. Oh, it is WVU Potomac. Thank you. I will change that back.
Turret out. Here. I will be their nightmare.
And now we are seeing a surprise round that comes out here.
Blocking sight.
And Zeno's aggressive push will be kind of stopped for just a moment, but those knives so powerful. Getting the repeat there, and is going to be forced to make a play here, and will go down, and Dissident trying to make something work off of that. But unfortunately will be kind of forced off here still. Not able to actually take the site. It looks like they're gonna walk their way back towards B here. No audio taken, but Elle is all the way over on the other site still with the Killjoy setup, so we'll have to see what happens there. And now chrisramrz is starting to rotate over towards this B, kind of sniffing out what's going on, playing a little bit in the middle for either hit, it seems. But they have already managed to find some success actually holding B site. So once they get on the site, it has been
30 seconds
quite
left.
doable for them outside of heroics, but looks like they're going to get access to it, and they will get it in the 4v3 retake. They do like to just play it all the way to the back of the site. I'll see if the post picks up on that. They do. They kind of just end up walking in here, and now Elle look for the play. Not going to be able to find anything. Chris does find one with a shock dart, and Dissident will find another, but a triple kill for Doozy is going to spell disaster for Post. Now Post look a little bit low on their buys here. And it's going to be a little bit tough for them this round. I think we might see a Spectre, maybe a couple pistol buys, a couple Spectres, but nothing more here. And we'll see if they can get some sort of a thrifty here. We're going to see, you know, go a little bit aggressive with this dash here. And beautiful utility usage, but only able to get one there, but they will get a second with the breach utility from Dissident, who is creeping up here. And we've managed to make it a 3v3 on these low buys, which is pretty nice. And beautiful shooting from Dissident, and Mojo will find more kills. And this is certainly looking to be a thrifty round. Love the aggression out mid, the breach concuss combined with the Sova dart, the jet smokes, the Spectre, the dash out. Just absolutely beautiful. And now Yuzi gonna be in a little bit of trouble here. We'll get spotted out by that Killjoy utility, forced to kind of slow down as Elle is here, and guns are now picked up. Doozy gonna be greeted by Mojo very shortly here. Looks for the stun, but not in the right spot here. He starts to look back, and Mojo's just creeping up on it, and not going to look to overpeak here, as he is just getting slowly taken down. Dissident finds the triple. What a beautiful round. I think he did that with 3 different pieces of, or guns and or utility. I think it was the Aftershock, the Spectre, and the Vandal there. So, kind of a jack of all trades, if you will. And Post will manage to find their 3rd round here. And we are going to see the first Outlaw purchase of the season. It's going to be Dropship. And that Outlaw could be very dangerous towards Dissident, because, again, it does do 140, which is a one-shot on light shields. And we're going to see Zeno creep up yet again, finding a kill. Loving to play aggressive, especially with Dissident on that breach, having that utility for him. Just go out and, wow. Oh, it is going to end up being a Marshal, not an Outlaw. That came out from Dropshipper.
Enemy tag.
Who does find that headshot and does shut down Zeno.
Destroyed.
And everyone's just going to creep out of A here for a little bit, but looks like there's a little bit of a tough situation here, but now it is going to be the A hit as the dash on comes through. And it should be a plant, a site given. But numbers are in the favor of Post, so they should be in a pretty good spot for the retake, especially if Mojo can find this kill, and he does, but on the reload, forced to go for the paranoia. Gets the dash through and somehow is alive and completely mixing them up. Berserker will manage to finally take down Mojo here and almost finds Chris, such low HP on both sides, and the stun comes through, and Berserker will find a 3rd, a valiant effort, but Dissident will be there to close the round. Wow, what a play from Mojo to really open that up.
Change of plans.
Does struggle on the initial kill, and then the reload. It wasn't necessarily the prettiest thing, but the brain was there. The dash, or the TP to the other side, making quite a mix-up there. Pulling it out of thin air, and now Post will tie things back up again, which is a very good look for them right now, especially as if they win this round, buys are going to be really, really short on the other side. Chris with an Ares is going to be interesting. Again, this map does have a lot of pennable walls with high pen guns, so that's the Outlaw, the Odin, the Op, Sheriff, and the Ares. So we'll have to see if we can get any fancy dart combos, as he did lose that dart there, but if we get a tag here, he might be able to find some sort of a kill, and doesn't manage to find a damage tag there, actually, just the way that the angle of the wall was. Not able to find anything. Meanwhile, smoke's being thrown from A all the way to B here on this attacking team. We're seeing a little bit of a workover. Chris will manage to spot out some action going on, and Zeno will shut down that A-lurk immediately, but there's more people coming, and Killjoy is just so close up here now. And figured out the Aftershock coming through, and the Aftershock will find the kill. Meanwhile, Berserker, though, is behind enemy lines here, finds a 2nd kill. And Mojo will manage to clean one up as well. Now we're looking at a 2v3 situation. Berserker, though, on the hunt here. Mojo will manage to slip away with that TP. The Jet Dash going to be used up. Well, not used at all, but consumed because it was activated within that time window. Again, Jet did one enemy. Mojo will find a kill. And that flash will come through. Will get flicked, but Juicy does manage to find that kill. And with a little bit of time here, we'll actually be able to get a plant off, it seems like, and should know about where Zeno is right now, but it won't matter. And that'll be another round 1 for Post. They are starting to really warm up into this game. But yeah, as I was saying before, Jet did receive some nerfs. It was to the Jet like dash time. So once you activate it, instead of 12 seconds, I believe it went down to just 8. So you have to be a little bit tighter on that window. It's a little bit more punishing. And then she also only has one updraft now, which does affect some of like the updraft, like double updraft dive things you can do. But for the most part, she still kind of does the same thing. She creates space. She dashes out. You know, the champion's agent's identity is still very similar, just a little bit weaker.
Get out of my way!
And now I see Zeno running through, but meanwhile there's aggression towards mid, and Berserker gonna find that first kill here, and we'll see if Mojo can find a nice little TP out, and does manage to find one, and a Dissident and Zeno already pushed all the way through, and Zeno will claim 2 more. And now this mid push completely stopped by this aggression, but wow, what a shock dart to find that kill, and now they're gonna have to pivot towards picking up this spike over towards B on just a Stinger and a Sheriff here. Dissident will slowly realize that they aren't in mid any longer. We'll have to rotate that long way around, as Elle should be picking up some of those noise cues on the entry there. As the turret gets killed, and now the setup though gonna tear them apart a little bit, or at least slow the push. See, Elle and Market not able to find that kill, and it's gonna be just down to Dissident here. The Stinger and Spectre can be very powerful here, and the Spectre will find the kill. The Emperors will find that kill, and it's gonna go to 5-5. And now, buys a little bit tight for Post here. They might just want to give a gun over and have Zeno use knives. Yep, and it looks like that is going to be the play here. A Spectre, knives, and 3 Vandals, so it will be somewhat of a buy here. And again, it's more sort of aggression towards A. Oh, ooh! Chris having a great opportunity here! And unable to fully capitalize, but does get a lot of damage off here. The shock dart also potentially going to be big here. As Elle finds one, make that 2. Chris finds a shock dart kill. Elle, wow, utility kills all over the place. Elle will get the 4K. I think that was 3 utility kills. A Sova shock dart, a Killjoy turret, and a Molly. And that entry is just going to be completely stuffed in the chaos. Then a couple rifle or Spectre kills as well for Elle. A beautiful hold there.
Placing sentry.
And honestly, it feels like early on this Killjoy from Elle was having a little bit of trouble like holding sites. It was a lot of like retake situations or dying on site, but that was a beautiful hold there, and on such a pivotal round. And wow, they're just going so aggressive out of B main. It's the same combo, it's the breach utility, it's, you know, just running in, finding those kills, taking that op early, and now we're seeing a fast play onto A here, and it's just not going to pan out. Bird all alone here, going to look for the TP, but Elle will pick up another one. And a beautiful clean round from Post as we go into the half, a 7-5 lead. Which, with how things started, honestly, pretty good situation for them to be in. 5 of the last 6 rounds going in their favor, with a lot of momentum going into the half here as we get into this pistol round. Honestly, Zeno just picking up right where he left off last semester. 16 kills in the first half. Berserker doing quite a good job as well. 16 on the table, but I mean, really, the rest of it comes down to Post just performing outside of that jet roll. It's 10 kills, 9 kills, no other double digits really in the game besides those 3. But everyone seems to be doing their parts on the side of Post that's netted them this early lead, and now we're going to see a little bit of a take here, it looks like, but that's going to get shut down almost immediately here. They do burn the jet dash without knowing it, because that is going to tick down for Berserker. Again, there is no sound cue with that. And they are going to stick around towards A, get that ult orb. We'll see how well they actually stick, and it is just going to be this re-engage here. There's so many people here, and what was that? And Mojo also finds 2. This shouldn't have worked this well. No trades back, 5v2, just good shooting from post. Zeno with a 180. I didn't see what happened with Mojo, but finding 2 there is absolutely insane. And Dissident is just perched in such a great spot here. Shock darts coming through from Chris, and yeah, that's just gonna be some good shooting. A flawless round from post, setting the tempo in this second half. Wow. That was insane. Zeno just showing over and over why we should be on his point of view, making the clips happen. I mean, that was just like a 180. He was checking the right side and he just spun around, found the gen player. Absolutely wild, with the ghost and everything too. And now it looks like it's going to be a re-hit on to A here. And yep, we are just going to see an absolute dash in. But it's going to get shut down by the Stinger here. There was a force up here. But Mojo is starting to clean up some kills, but it is going to start to fall apart a little bit slowly.
Last player standing.
And wow, the entry stuffed by the Stinger force. Just Elle, who will manage to find 1. Just 10 bullets and 31 HP though. A little bit dangerous here. And the Stinger from Dropshipper finds
I can hold an area pretty well
the
myself.
round for
Make sure to cover the angles I can't.
Potomac. And we have a game once again. Still a 2-round lead for post, but with no buys here, this should be a difficult round for them. Meanwhile, we are going to see the actual first Outlaw purchase, it looks like, coming out from Berserker, and I really do like this buy here, because we are seeing a little bit of light armor coming out for post, and, I mean, that just gets completely shredded by this gun. And, yep, there's 1, and again, with this gun, you can fire 2 shots, actually, like, without any sort of reload, and you can fire them almost instantly, kind of like a shorty, but a sniper shorty, which is, pretty interesting here. However, the reload... Oh, and that's going to be another kill with that Stinger. However, the reload on the Outlaw, if you only shoot 1 bullet, is significantly faster than reloading the 2 bullets. Very interesting gun. Has a weird place in the meta.
Shadows traveling.
Now, we are just seeing
Spike down.
the kind of expected result on the round. Just Chris with the Sheriff now left alive. We'll see if he can do any damage here. He does manage to find 1. Those Sheriff warm-ups earlier paying off. We'll see if he can manage to find a second. Doesn't know where some of them are. 43 HP makes it quite tough, though. They have him pretty much routed here, and Bird will make it official. Now post should be back into buys here. I believe. Yep. Buys coming through now. Light armor for Mojo that can be very dangerous versus Outlaw, depending on the situation. Shouldn't be the one peeking the Outlaw, but sometimes it's not your choice. As Berserker's already proven to be somewhat dangerous with this gun early on. And we are going to see a potential peek here. And that's going to get smoked off almost immediately. So they will be able to find some sort of distance out mid here. Most importantly, Zeno will be able to come up here. Look for a couple shots. He's going to get flashed out here and now. Chris found 1. Mojo finds 2.
Spike down.
But Dropshipper gonna hold on for a little bit, but Post have absolutely routed Potomac here. Bird, though, doesn't want to go quietly, does deal a little bit of damage here, does pick up a Vandal as well, and it is going to be the 2v1,
Spike
or I guess
planted.
1v2 retake here for Bird. Man, it's so difficult here. Now they know exactly where Bird is here, but Chris is going to stay quiet instead of shooting through here. Now it does look for the shot there, but should give away his location here and make it a little bit of dangerous, but 30 HP for Bird. And PSL will come in clutch, finding that kill. And closing out the round for Post. Did get a little bit dicey towards the end, but Chris did enough damage that it made that final fight quite a favorable 1v1, and Elle will close that out. Chris, by the way, has had quite a few shock dart kills this game. Has been quite good with that Sova utility, and also just found a lot of damage. Kind of a unsung hero in some of these rounds. Now we're going to see Berserker try to go on the aggressive side here, similar to what Zeno did on defense in the first half, but not quite as explosive. It looks like he's just going to wait here for a little bit. This dash consume should get the audio cues there. And does manage to find one, but a 1-for-2 trade is not what you're looking for here with that aggressive play. And now it should just be an entry here as Dissident looks for it, but wow.
Down A.
Post completely shut down there. Just no trade kills. It's going to be down to Elle. He does manage to find one, spots another, and Yompers finds the triple kill. Absolutely pivotal for, or pivotal.
Still working?
Pivotal for Potomac there. Finding those 2 kills on the attempted entry.
Alarm bot out.
And then finding that final kill, and now again we have quite a close situation. Posts are going to be a little bit short on cash again. They should look to get an orb to get Zeno ult here. This would be the perfect round for Zeno to pull out knives, and I think that's what we're going to see towards A. And we are seeing Potomac play very far back here, not contest these orbs, so it should give Zeno one for free here. Not sure if I agree with that call per se, and now they're stacking towards this A site. Chris on a little bit of a lurk here, though. And they have information that it's not mid now, as they have sort of lurked that. And now we're starting to see this shift, and a little bit of utility kind of used as bait utility. They're going to leave Elle here, though, and they are going to just start to walk up mid, which can be so big here, but a little bit unfavorable for Post there. Still, they did manage to take away a gun, which is huge. However, 2v4 is going to make this quite tough. Mojo could just ult all the way to B.
Watch them run.
I think that's what's happening. Yep, it is going to be the ult over to B, as Chris is going to run through as well, and they will now know from the Killjoy utility what is going on, but the plant is successful. Chris does have ult, doesn't have a gun, might just play for that post plant if Mojo can stall enough time here. But that's such a tall task. We'll need some hero plays coming through. And wow, a beautiful dart utility from Chris. Gonna allow Mojo to do some work here, and now it's gonna be just down to Chris, who does have that ult available. And wow, the timing, a little bit unfortunate. Chris trying to get back to maybe ult there. Don't know if that would have even managed to save that round if he could, but not going to get a chance to. Still, on the save, managing to take away 3 guns is pretty nice for them. And they'll be back on buys 9-9 currently. I think really the struggle for Post has been, in this half, has really been closing out some of these rounds, especially with better buys. They did get that pistol, and then they struggled on the round after. But we'll see what they can do here. Getting early mid control here. A beautiful smoke. And won't manage to find that kill. We'll get spotted out, and Berserker's just going absolutely crazy with the knives there. Manages to find one. Now Post will be locked up in mid here. They do have the control, but they don't really have much place to go. They still have a Killjoy alarm bot in front of them, and then a Berserker on the other side, and we'll see how this goes here. As Berserker finds another one, just 30 HP now though. Elle might be able to clean that up, and she will before going down, and it's going to be down to just Dissident and Mojo.
Flash out!
The flash comes through.
Last player standing.
Bird, a beautiful angle there. However, Dissident will still manage to slip the cracks a little bit there, but 30 seconds left. 1v3, it's not going to be an easy task here, and they're not really going to give Dissident a chance. He's going to manage to run all the way to B for free, though, taking the non-Killjoy utility route and finding that plant. Might look to play CT here. I do like the idea. It is planted very well for that, and unless they scout that out early, could be very, very impactful for him. However, no one is going to go CT. Can't get that free first pick. And with that ult into backside, they're going to know he's not there. They're going to know he's not on site. And, I mean, at this point, it's pretty much obvious where you are. Bird, though, going to overlook that a little bit. And that's going to be one kill. And the ult is also available here. Oh, but no bullets! No, can't find the kill onto Bird, but might have stalled enough time, actually.
Clutch.
What a clutch! The ult being impactful enough. Stalling dropshipper from actually getting to the bomb. And even though they didn't find the kill onto, I think it was Bird,
Placing swarm grenade.
still
Placing swarm
was
grenade.
enough time stalled. Bird couldn't get back to it. Bird was in the fight, and dropshipper couldn't get to the bomb. So what a clutch there from Dissident, finding that first pick too on the jumping Sova. And heroic plays once again for Post to push them back into this game. And the button tapped early. A beautiful entry coming in from Zeno here. Oh, he will just be able to find dropshipper, and this time they're taking full advantage of the lack of guns here. Coming out as Dissident will find one. Oh, that's an op. That is an op from Berserker here. And it is paired with some stingers and stuff, but this is suddenly quite dangerous. As Mojo does manage to find one in the favorite little corner here, but Chris is going to be all alone.
I am the hunter!
But do you have a shock dart for this?
One
Does manage to find it, and oh no, a little bit of an over push here as Yompers will manage to find that 4K.
You failed.
And the timing, a valid attempt from Chris there. Doesn't know the shock dart was going to find that kill. He didn't know that they were low HP. Was trying to rush to the site. And it's going to go back to 10-10 here, and Posts are going to go back to low buys. And this is going to be a scary situation for them now. Berserker with 23 kills already. Zeno with 20 of his own. Honestly, if you're Post here, you're pretty much looking to potentially win this. You kind of don't want to give the 11, and that Outlaw finding that kill. Berserker seemed to really like that gun on these sort of save rounds, getting that second shot opportunity. Or I guess anti-eco rounds is the word. And now we're going to see a lot of aggressiveness here from Post as they try to find their way through, make it messy, and while they do manage to take a gun, make that 2, it won't be much besides that. 11 rounds now for Potomac. And Post does manage to get buys here now, so not all is too much for them. If they do win this round, it is back to tied, but at this point, they would have to string together 3 rounds in a row to not take this into OT.
Placing swarm grenade.
And a round
Keep it
loss
cool.
here would almost
That's how you
certainly
survive.
result in 13 rounds. So it's going to be a must-win round here for Post as they get early mid-access here, but they make it a little bit obvious by smoking off mid that it is going to be an A hit here. And now there's 4 opponents already here. This can be so dangerous. And that's a 3K from Yompers, and in a blink of an eye, Poster taken down. And we're looking at map point for game 1 right now. And unfortunately for Post, it doesn't look like there's a lot on the table buy-wise. A couple Guardians, a Spectre, a Bulldog, maybe another Bulldog coming out here, a Guardian as well. And really no ults of importance on the board. Meanwhile, the Killjoy and the are on the board on the other side, so should be a pretty hard round to just win. And the Sova is going to get quite a bit of damage early, but not going to find any kills yet, as Zeno will push the same way as usual, get that button pressed, and he'll be alive somehow. So you're going to see the tag, and
Spike
Post
down,
now
B.
falling apart here on the entry. The bomb not in the sight. Dissident is though, but there's not much you can do here actually on the site without that bomb. Dissident does manage to find one as they slowly try to work their way here. It's just so difficult without smokes to actually recover this bomb. You can't really block off those sight lines except with the utility and a self-smoke there. But that flash, it's going to close out the round. Berserker will find win. 2. Potomac will manage to find this first game here. A very close game. A lot of back and forth, a lot of good things coming out from both sides, but in the end, some of the messier rounds just going a little bit more in the favor of Potomac, especially with Berserker and Yompers just really shutting down those entries. And great game from both sides here. Not sure what the second map will be, but it looks like we are going to take a little bit of a break here. So I'm going to jump away for just a moment, and we will be back in just a few minutes. Alrighty, we are back, everybody. Team's still just getting a little bit of time to get everything together. However, it does look like Icebox is going to be our second map here. And it looks like Post will start on the defending side as we are starting to get things set up here. Icebox, a new addition to the map pool recently. It hasn't been in the actual map pool for a long time. It did get some changes, especially towards mid. There's a little window towards like tube that you can now look out of. They added basically just more depth towards mid. They changed a lot to B main to make that a little bit more accessible, a little bit more open. And map does play out a little bit differently now. So we will get back to this screen here. But it looks like we are just waiting on a couple people real quick. And yeah, Post falling a little bit short in that first game. 13-10 scoreline, though, not very far behind. It was a close game. It was a little bit back and forth. But unfortunately, that attack side didn't quite have the same effect as the defending side there. A lot of those actual pushes got just like shut down from really good sprays, especially from Yompers on that Sova, finding a lot of multi-frags either through smokes or as people were coming in on entries and unable to actually be taken down. Bird also pretty big on those spray downs there, and fortunately for Post, they couldn't quite get into their post plants a lot of time. However, Icebox, a very, very different map. It's a lot more open versus Scent, so the entries are, I don't want to say less precise per se, but they're less clogged, right? You can, you're a little bit more spread out when you're actually entering, and you can see a lot more that's going on, so you don't get clogged in as many gaps as often, right? So like Icebox tends to be a lot more retake heavy because it's hard to hold these sites, so we'll have to see how that changes things, because Ascent is a lot more of a site hold type of map. You can give up sites as well, but like you kind of want to hold B and like often kind of give up A a lot of the time, I think, usually. Or you give like part of B and stuff like that. But with Icebox, it's a lot more willingness to retake A. You kind of want to hold B. You can retake it as well, especially now that there's like less boxes and stuff to check over towards that B side. So we'll have to see how that makes things change between these two teams, because the biggest struggle it seemed like for Post in that game was a little bit more of the like actually entering onto sites as the attacking team. So with less clogged sites, we might see that a little bit work out a little bit better for Post, and maybe that'll be enough to turn the tide in this game too and bring us to map 3. That being said, there is going to be a substitution here. KevinBittner coming in for Elle, and it looks like the teams are ready. And here we go. Icebox going to be the map. It's going to be fun to cast. I haven't really been able to cast it with the new changes at all, since it really just came out between the semesters. And wonder what comps we're going to see here. Harbor also kind of a new-ish agent for like the Icebox changes. Like didn't really exist as a character the last time Icebox was really in the map pool. Or it might have been like towards the end. Icebox got added like recently, I want to say. But with the actual big Icebox changes that happened recently, we are now going to see that Harbor locked in, and we're actually going to see Harbor on both sides. I'm not sure if there were any big Viper changes or just a realization that Harbor's a little bit more versatile than Viper is on this map, but the wall type smokes are really good on this map, so seeing Harbor there instead, not super surprised, haven't seen it personally before this, but
choose your agent.
Gonna be interesting. And Dissident on the Reyna as well. I guess you don't really need hard flashes as much on this map because of how it's set up, so the Reyna is a little bit interesting here. And we are seeing Chris on Chamber as well, so moving away from that Sova, gonna be more in an opping role it seems, and this does feel like a very post-university type comp here. Somewhat on the more innovative side. We're going to actually see matching Reynas, matching Sovas, matching Harbors, but it is going to be a Killjoy and a KO as their piece of utility are going to opt for flashes and are going to opt for that Killjoy to potentially lock down parts of the map. Meanwhile, Sentinel of choice for Chris being Chamber, which I do really like because this map is pretty open overall, so it's kind of hard to like actually get value out of the Killjoy utility a lot of the time, I feel like. Where Chamber kind of just functions as like an opper, like pseudo like lurker, or lurker on attack side, and like a duelist opper on defense, so I do kind of like this potential option, and I like this height that Chris is playing early on. We'll see if... Ooh, won't spot drop off the rip. And Dissident just going to take an early fight, and Chris as well going to look for an early fight. Won't be able to find that kill. Mojo going to be taken down as well. We are going to see more fighting coming out here from Chris. And they're all going to go towards... B here now as Chris kind of forced into a weird situation here and doesn't manage to find Yompers there. He did get a little bit of damage down. His distance going to be a little bit caught out here, and now we are seeing the flank come out from Zeno and Kevin, but shots just not going the way of Post right now as Dissident is all alone with just 22 HP, no way to heal either. Does spot drop, but Bird will find that kill. And after a chaotic round with early mid pressure and an early pick, the Post won't manage to convert on it. And we are going to see a save versus a rifle, weird rifle round for Potomac. They are going to go all the way up to Guardians, Bulldogs, try and make it so that they can play for the third round as well. Meanwhile, Chris does have this Marshall here. Could be pretty big here if the peak does come through.
Here.
And does manage to find the tag, but won't manage to find the kill. And meanwhile, a lot of chaos going on in mid here. Kevin trying to get away as the push walls come through, and whatever Post was doing in mid for aggression, not going to work out for them. Did have worse buys here, so it makes it a little bit difficult, and Dissident did get a little bit of a spot at the end there, but won't be re-challenged. Should be free A site here. So we are going to see them pick up some ult orbs, plant some bombs. And it should be a pretty clean round here. A couple low health bars, so maybe some guns can be taken away that we're really invested into. So a Guardian or something, or a Bulldog or something gets taken away. Could be big, but it's all down to Chris. Certainly they don't give him a shot at this. 12 HP. They might. Chris does manage to take one away. Oh, almost able to find a second there, but Yompers will close that out. And it does look like they weren't able to re-pick up that Guardian, so one of their biggest investments was actually taken away there. Stuck on that Spectre. And a Sheriff now, so a little bit of an impactful kill there from Chris to hurt that eco. Yeah, the eco. And Vandals now for the side of Post, so we'll see if they can pick this round back up. Again, though, there's still a lot of rifles on the table. And quite difficult. An early drone will spot that out for Chris. They'll know where he TP'd to. Force him to kind of walk up away from this B site. And we'll get some reinforcements now, though, so there hasn't been a full commit yet. And with that wall there, we'll actually give them a chance to walk across here, which I don't particularly like, giving them that opportunity to be there. But I guess there was already assumption that they could be there. But meanwhile, on the other side of the map, KO and Harbor are just working their way up. Doozy and Yompers, and are gonna pretty much be able to get this A site for free. But actually, Kevin has returned to the site. Oh, it did make a lot of noise, though. And does hear the plant. Oh, no, and Kev will be taken down. But meanwhile, Zeno is gonna run through, gonna find one kill. As we are going to see a full retake situation. Ooh, that bomb is planted in a really good spot, and I don't know if they have access to the cove still. They do not, but what is going on? Zeno just picking them apart. Oh, but a double shock dart kill? Chris will finally clean up that that round, but it somehow got really not close, or really close, and then really not close, and then really close again with a big shock dart kill. Zeno, the second I go to check if there's a cove, goes and gets two. Like, oh, really making it difficult on following all the action here, but that is just the explosive plays that come with post-university Valorant, so gotta get used to it. And now Chris gonna be alone here on the B site now, and still doesn't quite have an op here. Gonna be in quite an interesting spot, and barely gets that TP off in time there. Getting a little caught in the setup here, and gonna be forced to run away. Mojo will be there to help, and now Yomper's gonna have to run in, and they're looking for this plant. And Chris tries to run in, can't find the kill. Plant will go down. And with no flank here, this can be quite difficult in the post plant. With all the utility that Potomac have, it makes it so hard to retake. It makes it so easy to get onto the sites. If you're not winning the sites, it becomes quite difficult. The shock darts, though, already used. The defuse is already coming through.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, not quite getting the defuse here, but it's all down to Bird, and it's a 1v1 here, and Dissident will find the kill. And with it halved, it'll be a free defuse. Not even close. By not even close, I mean just one person left alive. And in all the chaos, Post have now won out twice on these rifle rounds, and that's going to cause some low buys here coming out from Potomac. And it just looks like Sheriffs and a Marshal here. Maybe some Stingers, but they have been so... Ooh, a Guardian purchase, but they have been so good on these low buys, at least in the last game. So we'll have to see how they do here, as Chris will once again be challenged. This time with an op in hand, but the shot goes wide as Dissident works his way up mid. Berserker will shut that play down immediately, though. And Chris will get shut down. And now things are scary for Post, as 3 are already dead for absolutely nothing. And honestly, at this point, you might even consider saving here if you are Zeno and Kevin. It's so difficult to win this round. Now they have guns. They should have that op in hand as well. And
player standing.
now it's all up to just Kevin. 1v5. What can you do? Seemingly routed here. And yep, that's going to be the op kill from Dropshipper. And Post are down to no money here. And I mean, the Sheriff and the Marshal doing a lot of work there for Potomac, and quite the momentum swing they really needed there. Once again, doing work on these thrifties. And Chris starting to reevaluate how he maybe wants to hold this B site early here. Ooh, I like this. It's a little cheesy. Does manage to get away here. Didn't work out. Maybe it would have worked with a gun buy, so that's a little bit unfortunate pulling out there, but it would have been nice for it to get a little cheesy. And once again, gonna peek through. Once again, gonna get taken down. Challenging this code, proving quite difficult for Post here, but so hard to challenge sometimes, and it's all down to Dissident on the Sheriff. As Dropshipper will find the op kill there once again. But now Post should have buys here. They should be able to recuperate themselves. It looks like Chris is going to opt for the chamber op here. The Tour de Force, I believe it's called. I think it's, yep, Tour de Force. And it's going to switch over to the A site, which I do really like here because the KO knife can completely shut down the Tour de Force, so switching up where you're playing might be really good for them here. And just getting a new look as well. You know, Dissident once again playing together over towards B, trying to have a little bit more of an aggressive hold and still being able to take those upper angles, which I think is really good. And that flash not going to actually find a flash there, and Kevin is going to get taken down in mid here. Forces some rotates, and Dissident does find one before going down, but now map control in the favor of Potomac. As Chris tries to peek some of mid, get a little bit of information. It does look like it's a mid hit, but it's gonna be, oh, up through the tunnel.
Wave crashing.
And Mojo's gonna have to back off, gonna have to give that up a little bit here. But they might have a little bit of a pinch here. Zeno could go really crazy here. And Mojo unable to find that kill, and now they're gonna actually route their way over towards A here. And Chris caught a little unprepared here with this Tour de Force. And maybe make something work, and unfortunately cannot.
Spike planted.
It's all up to Zeno. And Berserker finding another kill. And unfortunately for Post right now, it just seems like they're not winning the early fights. They're not winning the early trades. And Potomac is capitalizing off of that. But it is a long game. It is only 5-2. But it is going to be low buys once again for Post. The Outlaw in play though, so potentially able to find something here. I'm not sure how I feel about the Outlaw on a round like this. You do get the 2 shots, but 140 damage versus 101 is not a huge change, and Dissident immediately taken down. And Kev immediately taken down. And this round looks about over here. But Chris, proving me wrong, finds the body twice, finds the kill. And forget everything I said about the Marshal. It could never do that. However, a Harbor ult invested here is a little bit strange. And And Doozy will finally find that kill. Mojo not able to live for long here. Now we're looking at a Marshall and an Outlaw here.
Spike planted.
We'll see how that goes. As Zeno and Mojo will sneak around the site a little bit, and Zeno's going to get spotted out here. And unfortunately not going to be able to find anything. Neither will Chris. Low HP on Berserker, but nothing else.
Yeah.
And the expected results on the round, but a timeout going to be called for Meech. Their first timeout used this series. We'll see what Meech has to say for them. Hopefully cooking some sort of strategy here, as momentum was getting a little bit out of hand. See if we can ice that momentum, come up with some sort of strategy here. Maybe Meech seeing something that can be exploited here. I mean, so far it's just been clean gameplay from Potomac. In this early parts of the game, they've been getting plants down fast. They've been finding early kills. So we'll have to see what Post can do here. I mean, honestly, I think really it's coming down to just not being able to find those early picks, not being able to play aggressive, or as aggressive as they usually do. And I think part of that comes from Dissident being on like a Reyna instead of a Breach. Normally, a lot of their aggression on defense does come from the Breach Jet combo that they like a lot, or Dissident flashing out for Zeno and being able to make plays. And you can't really do that as much on this map because Breach is really hard to play on this map, so we're starting to see a little bit of cracks in the defense potentially there. We'll see how this goes. Distant gonna sneak up a little bit here and look for a kill, but gonna be unable to find that there. And wow, everything just going the way of Potomac. They have so much control of everything here, and Kevin will spot out. But the hit was pretty inevitable anyways, and the K-ult's going to be invested. I mean,
Spike planted.
well, I don't think it was necessarily a necessary investment. It will help secure
Last
them the
player
round.
standing.
It's going to leave just Chris with this op here. Who's going to get spotted out? Nope. We'll manage to hide, but seemingly no. A knife attempted, but Yompers will find the ace. Didn't even realize that he was up for it, but beautiful round again from Potomac. And there's been some questionable ult investments the past couple rounds from Potomac, with the Harbor ult being invested 2 rounds ago, and the KO ult invested there in advantage state, but I mean, it's working. They're winning rounds, and honestly, the Harbor ult's already almost back up with 5 points already out of the 7. See if Chris can do something with this Outlaw here. As Doozy finds an op kill. And Dissident, though, on the other side, will find a pick towards A. It's going to be a little bit nice for them, making this a 4v4. Meanwhile, there's a lurk from Dropshipper who basically saw a free walk all the way up into B, and Doozy finds another op kill, as Kev will have to face a lot of this mid aggression here, and
Teleport's ready.
Chris finding a kill with this Outlaw and getting the reload here. And Dissident finding a kill for Doozy, and suddenly Post have a lot of agency in this round, potentially. Kev unable to find that kill, and how did that shot land? What a shot there, but Dissident finds the 3rd on the round. And now we're in a 1v1, and we're seeing a very high flash here. And Yompers will win that duel. Unfortunately, the lead now extending to 8-2 here. 2 more rounds in the half. Post really need these last couple if they want a shot here. But it does just feel like they're so low on money. It's hard to actually convert around, but it's hard to save when you're down this much too. Again, I'm not really 100% sold on going an Outlaw over a Marshall. But it has been working out for Chris. He has been finding the kills, but Zeno gonna get taken down in tube. And once again, control on the map going the way of Potomac. We're gonna see Chris challenged it again. See if he can find something here. Unable to find that shot. And yep, more struggles here for Post.
Last player standing.
And it's all down to just KevinBittner. Vandal in hand though, so maybe there's
Revealing area.
some sort of damage, but I don't know if eco damage really does anything with 1 round left in the half.
Spike planted.
Might just be best to save. Only 850 credits in the back pocket here.
Flawless.
That death will take us to 9-2 here.
Last round in the half.
And buys our well, they're able to buy. The loss bonus kicking in a little bit there. And they will get a lot of light shields, and I mean, it's op and play and not an outlaw, so those light shields do still have a lot of impact when that is the case. The way the math works out is you're taking the same bullets from a Vandal with light shields as you are with heavy shields, assuming you don't take utility damage. But Chris is going to creep up here on this A site, see if he can find something. Berserker already finding that first kill, and Chris going to be forced to TP away due to the Sova dart.
You should run.
And yep, all the ult's going to be invested here now, and see some difficulty here. Oh, and the timing going the way of Yampers here. Once again, trying to contest that cove. Mojo stuck in an awkward situation here, but does manage to find that first kill and looks for a second one. Is going to get a little bit stunned up here, but does know about Harbor. Finds the second kill there, and now the flanks are coming in, and Zeno's trying to find some stuff, and Mojo finds a third, Dissident finds another. And Post will manage to clean up that round with a beautiful flank there, finding their groove. Perhaps too little too late, but 9-3 curse. Could look for something in the half. Could look for a very strong offense. It is only the half, so a couple big rounds here could put them right back into this game. But yeah, I mean, the defense a little bit rough for them. Unable to really stop the actual site takes, and unable to really be able to do much in the post plants. I mean, overall just a little bit routed. However, attack side is a whole different side of the map, whole different ball game, and it looks like they're going to start by going for some sort of a mid play here. See if they can bounce back.
Flooding them.
And very aggressive play coming through here, and a flash coming through for Yampers, who's going to get taken down immediately. And as the chaos happens, Berserker did manage to find one, but Zeno will manage to get through tube here, and a fast flank is coming through.
Is killed.
As Doozy managed to find
B.
the spike over here, and that makes this quite difficult. And fights now happening in tube here. Berserker finds more. And Dissident all alone in what looks like a potential promising round for Post. Is now quite a difficult one, but Dissident's got the aim! Unfortunately, just too many opponents unable to find that, and heartbreak for Post here. We're looking at 10-3 now. Forced into a force-up situation, not wanting to give 11 this early. Honestly, guns aren't super uneven. There's a little bit more range on the side of Potomac, but besides that, guns that Post have can deal quite a bit of damage, especially at closer ranges. However, it's hard to find those closer fights. We're gonna see early aggression here. The dash through here, perfectly timed, finds that kill with the ghost and manages to pick up that Guardian here. And now Post, signs of life here as they go to take this site here, and the plant should go down. Chris will die for the plant, but Spike has been planted now. Kev a little bit out in the open here. But Dissident is finding kills, making plays. Now it's a 2v2. Marshall's doing work, make it a 1v2. Zeno trying to make work with this Guardian, can't find the shots, and Yompers gets a 4K. Doing work with that Marshall, and another heartbreaking round for Post.
I detonate, you don't.
Unfortunate.
Can get first pick.
Now, once again, it looks like they're debating on whether they force here or not. I mean, to be honest, outside of Dissident, shots not really going the way of Post. It's been a little bit of a struggle finding their footing this game. Feels like Ascent really was the map that they seem to know a little bit more. Feels like this Icebox map, not as much of their forte. See what Zeno can do on this Marshall potentially here. He can make something work. Chris looking to try and make something happen mid as well, and meanwhile Zeno finds one pick. And honestly, Dissident is doing a little bit of work over towards B-side here. Look for something, and Chris getting another tap there, but the Outlaw doing a lot of work there, finding that kill. Just 15 HP on Berserker, though. Could potentially be big, and wait, there's a huge wraparound from Dissident here. This Mojo looking for the plant.
Deploying.
Look at the plant down, but Doozy is still a terror on the site here. Dissident has now been spotted out as well, and actually Post have a 1v3 here, despite the worst guns, and ooh, Berserker will be able to heal up off of that. That could be so huge here. Dodging that dart as well. And it's still 1v2. The bomb's still down. Time's ticking away. But Berserker has bought some signs of life in the round for them. Unfortunately for him, Mojo will shut that down. Bring Post to 4. And despite the low buys, despite the round situation, despite the struggles, Post will manage to pull together that lower buy round, get themselves back in the game economically, and actually shut down the econ of Potomac here. And yeah, it is just going to be Sheriffs and a Marshall here, so while they have been dangerous on these low buys, it should be a Post round here. Maybe they can get that little bit of confidence. That's when Zeno starts firing, when he starts warming up. He gets into the server. He just starts going off. That's a second kill already. Finding these eco frags. Wow, and more damage coming through. That was through the wall too. Really waiting for this potential kill. Dissident though managed to find that one, and now a double flank here. Mojo having the opportunity, and good aim! Finds 2. One tap to the head, another tap to the head, and Post starting to get some sort of momentum here. Trying to make it work. They will have to get through a rifle round now for Potomac. And the thing is, that becomes increasingly difficult when you're behind, is dealing with the ult econ coming through eventually. Because sometimes, if you're ahead, especially by this much, you can just let a few ults build up. You can kind of chain them together on one round, and it feels like an impossible round to lose. So, how many of these ults can Post actually make it through? I'll have to see what they can do. Berserker gets quite aggressive here and does find that first kill, but Zeno will get a trade kill over on the other side, and Dissident is so far up, does get spotted by that alarm bot, and to make it through, and now Post finding their footing here, but Doozy will try to shut that down. Still, it's a 3v2 for Post. The plant should come through, as Chris will look for that plant now.
Spike planted.
Doozy will take quite a bit of damage here. Kevin not really looking for a repeat here, as Dropshipper starting to get in towards screens. He's not really willing to leave the site just yet, but with that TP away, they are going to give up most of the site here. That Sova drone do a little bit of work, but Doozy is so far up, do they know?
Last player standing.
And now it's just down to Doozy, who does find that first kill on the Kevin, and manages to find a 4K! Absolute heartbreak for Post, but good aim for Doozy.
Clutch.
My proximity to death
And
really
it's gonna
added to the
be
fight.
12-5, map point, series
Match
point
point
on the table, and Post will have to string 7 along if they want to make this go into overtime. Unfortunately, they will, they actually have pretty good buys here. They have good econ from the last couple rounds. It's actually going to be Potomac that is struggling a little bit on buys with the Bulldog and the Guardian.
You want to play? Let's play.
We'll have to see what Post can do here. One round at a time. Mid control completely in the favor of Potomac here. The Post don't really seem to care, as they are looking towards this A site, making a little bit of noise, however. They are just going to take it a little bit slower. Chris looking for some sort of pick mid as Post slowly creep up. Zeno looking for some purchase onto the site. Does manage to find 2, and Chris will find a pick in mid now.
One enemy remaining.
And it's going to be a big site take here from Zeno, who refuses to let this series go. Make that a 4K!
Try harder.
Welcome to the map. 16 kills on the table, and again, when we looked at the half, Zeno was kind of chilling down more towards, like, 7-ish. It was Dissident very far ahead of the rest of the team in kills, but now, I mean, Zeno's just been on a tear. We'll see if that's enough to bring them back into the game. 6 more rounds to catch up. A tall task, certainly, especially with 4 ults now on the table for Potomac. But just Sheriffs and 1 Bulldog, so we'll have to see how that goes. Early dart here is going to know that at least someone is there. Another turret taken out early. It is going to be an advancement towards A. Chris does have to be very careful, though, on this op here. He does manage to find 1. Is alone here and will get out safely. Oh, can't quite find that kill, and does actually give that op over. And Zeno, though, gonna find 1, will get traded out here. And this is where the round kind of can become dangerous if guns can be recovered. Doesn't look like Zeno's gun can be recovered, though. And Mojo's in such a good spot over on King here. Never expected. Gets the drop away. Berserker does have a rifle now, though. It'd be so dangerous, but Dissident will shut that down, and it's going to be just Dropshipper over here, who will get pinged out by this dart. One checks here, and Good timing, fighting together, finding that kill. Post buy themselves some more life. And now Potomac are in a situation where they lose this round, then they're on another save, and it's going to kind of bounce between save round, buy round for a little bit. So Post in one of the more challenging rounds right now, but if they can get through this round, they make this game somewhat doable. And they are going to stack again early towards this A site. Chris going to go out towards mid here, and this can be so dangerous, especially with Berserker already pushed up like that and will never get checked. Managing to walk through tube. And Berserker, once again, being the monster of this Potomac team. Gonna make a tough 3v5 situation for Post with the series on the line. So they look over towards B here. Again, 4 ults on the table for Potomac, and all of them very high impact ults as well.
Right there. Water rising.
And it looks like we are gonna manage to get this plant. Nope, the Sova ult actually comes through and almost finds Mojo, but now Zeno does manage to find 1 kill, 30 seconds ticking down, but in the absolute chaos, Zeno looking for some sort of ability to play here, does manage to almost find another, but it's going to come down to just Kevin in the chaos. Potomac will manage to find that win. That is going to be the series, a 2-0 for West Virginia Potomac here. And I mean, Yompers playing absolutely insane. Berserker as well. 2 very, very good players for that team. And as for Post, I mean, they put up a big fight in the first game. Second game, they had a little bit of a comeback streak for a little bit, but just couldn't quite work away that early deficit. Coming alive a little too late, but overall, great play, great first week out for Post. Definitely some stuff to work on a little bit, but early in the season, things will get there. As for everybody watching, thank you for tuning in, and have a good night.